What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing our weekly news video. Now, for these videos, I'm gonna stop doing these super long intros because it's just yapping. This video is a bunch of yapping. Y'all don't need to hear me talking more. So, just keeping it short. If you guys want to stay up to date with these car news and stuff like that, make sure to hit a like button, hit the subscribe, because that would be nice. And we're trying to get our subscriber count back up. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please do that for me. And let's go ahead and get right into the news. And for our first story, we kind of got actually a little something interesting going on from Chrysler. Now, as you guys know, the only model they sell is the Pacifica, which is just a van. Now, they have actually came out with what is they're calling the Grizzly Peak. It's a concept right now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out. It looks like a pretty real vehicle to me. It's pretty much just an off-road Pacifica though, which I mean, I kind of like. I like off-road vehicles. I like whenever a company makes a non-off-road vehicle an off-road vehicle from factory. Pretty cool. And the fact that it's this Pacifica, you can go camping, do your pretty much basic outdoor activities, and you can all do it outside of your van. It has like electric sockets. It's got plenty of ground clearance, obviously. Big tires. It's actually kind of cool. Probably about the coolest minivan that you could probably get because it's a minivan. And I want to say now, my voice sounds a little weird, or if I sound like I'm out of breath or something. I was just sick recently, and I'm kind of at the back end of that now, so please forget that. For our second story, we have kind of just like a little study that was done by IIHS, which is the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Now, they just did basically a little study to see what cars actually get stolen the most. Now, they are doing this based off of how many examples are on the road right now. So this isn't just like stealing them from a dealership or nothing like that. This is cars that are bought and out on the road right now, and they're saying that actually the leading car that is being stolen is the Chevy Camaro ZL1, which actually doesn't really surprise me because I know Camaros have been getting stolen. That does happen, and it's been a thing for a while, along with the Chargers, Challengers, and other Dodge products, along with also some of those other cars that you typically see, Altimas, things like that. But according to this, the Chevy ZL1 is 39 times more likely to be stolen than any other car. So if you got a Camaro, be careful. And for the next story we have is actually a little bit of a sad one because the R35 is coming to an end. Now, I say sad, but it's honestly way overdue. As I said, this is the final run. The last car has came off the assembly line. It was a midnight purple T-Spec, if anyone cares. R35 is now done officially. There's going to be no more. And like I said, it's been a long time coming. It's kind of needed to happen. The 35 has been out for like over 10 years. It's been almost 15, I think. Might have been more. Might have actually been more than 15 years, but it's been out for a long time. So it's time, So next is going to be the R36. What's going to be coming from it, we don't know. We know that the head of the GTR development did say he wants it to be internal combustion still, but it's probably going to be a hybrid or some sort of that. So we'll just have to wait for the future and see what that holds. But for now, R35s are done. So if you try to get one, maybe they're going to start. They might start going up a little bit before they go down. So if you got it like that and you're trying to shop for one, be on the lookout. And for the next story, we are actually kind of just talking about something a little interesting that happened here with Mercedes. Their concepts called the GTXX. These are like prototype EV cars. And they actually just set like a ton of records. I believe they set 25 new records for EVs. Now, this is mostly just in distance travel type things, and it's actually pretty impressive. So essentially, in one day, they set the record, and the previous record was actually set like a few months ago by a Chinese electric car. It was called the Xpeng P7, I think. I don't know how you say that. I don't know if it's Xpeng or Peng or something. P7. It drove a total of 2,462 miles in one day. Now, the AMG actually lapped that by a good amount, and it drove over 3,400 miles, 3,405 to be exact, in one day, which is actually pretty impressive. And it did that at going at a constant speed of about 186 miles an hour for that whole time. And keep in mind, this also did this for the record for 24 hours, 48, 72, 96, 120, 40, 144, and 168. So it literally broke records for all those days on distance traveled in one day for an electric car, which is very impressive. And they actually drove the circumference of the entire world in 7.5 days, which to get the circumference of the world, it's 24,901 miles. And they did that in, like, say, under 8 days, which they were trying to do it in 8 days, but they did it in 7.5. And they actually, the cars were performing so good that they kept going to get a solid even 25,000 miles traveled, which, that's pretty cool. So, I guess good job, AMG. Our next story is involving Volkswagen again, and it's not actually a bad thing this time. It's actually pretty cool because their Golf, for I believe it's 20th or 25-year anniversary. For its 25-year anniversary, had to be correct there, they are going to be possibly putting in the Audi RS3 engine, which is the inline 5, which that engine is so cool. That engine sounds really good. It makes good power. It's great. That's a good engine. And like I say, for it to be inside of the little small Golf, that's gonna be a nice car. It's gonna be a unit. That thing gonna move. So, that's coming. For our next story, we have Lotus over in the UK, and they actually have a new hypercar that they have came out with called the Evija or Evija. I'm not too sure how you say it. I'm not sure which one it is. But it looks super cool. It's not being sold in the US, which is stupid, but it looks really cool. It has 2,012 horsepower, and Lotus claims that it can reach 186 miles an hour in under 10 seconds, which is insane. That is crazy. That's fast. It has 4 electric motors in each wheel, giving it the 2,000 horsepower. If those claims are true, of it being able to reach almost 200 miles an hour in 10 seconds, like, that's insane. That is some crazy acceleration. And I don't know, like, do cars that fast really need to be sold to normal people? Because, dude, one wrong pull on a highway, you're dead. For our next story is a bit of a little interesting one. Mercedes actually needs a 4-cylinder. Now, you're probably thinking they have a 4-cylinder, right? Which they do. But as you guys know, over in Europe and stuff like that, those regulations are different than what they are here in the United States. And they're a lot more strenuous and they're a lot more strict about that stuff. And their 4-cylinder just quite really doesn't, it's not as efficient as it needs to be being sold over there. So what Mercedes is potentially looking at is going to BMW, actually, of all people, for their 4-cylinder, to possibly have that go into their Mercedes models that would have 4 cylinders, which, that's not a big deal, obviously. Like, people, companies platform share all the time, but it's just the fact that it's Mercedes and BMW. I don't think they've ever partnered with each other at all, especially considering that they are usually kind of like, seem to be in this little bit of like a rivalry kind of thing, So just kind of interesting, the fact that they are willing to possibly reach out to them for that 4-cylinder option. So something to keep an eye on. This next entry is super short. It's about Infiniti. They are actually just coming out with a Q50S that is going to have a manual. They teased it at a auto show, I believe, or a conference or something like that. And, it's just another Infiniti, another Q50, but it just has a manual. So, I mean, if that's something you've been wanting, something you've been interested in, it's coming, but I can't really imagine that too many people have been begging for a manual Q50, so I don't know. For our next story, we're actually going back to America with Ford and their new CEO, or I don't know if he's new, but their CEO, Jim Farley, which, if anyone is aware, actually kind of a cool dude. A really big car guy. He's got a nice car collection, like, kind of a cool dude. And he actually has expressed that he wants to make what he's calling a off-road supercar with the Raptor. Now, he's saying that he doesn't think that there's really ever been anything in the market for that, as in not an aftermarket, as in for a off-road high-power supercar. Now, I kind of see what he's saying, but also I kind of don't, because you got to just think, like last year, the Lamborghini Storado came out, the 911 Dakar came out. Those are both supercars. Those are both for off-road, both very capable. Now, he wants to have something that has like 1,000 horsepower and a Raptor, whatever, right? I'm sure nothing like that exists, yes. But in terms of him saying that there's no off-road supercar, I don't know. I don't agree with that. But to see what he can do with like a fast off-road Raptor, like Baja truck thing or something. Cool, okay, whatever. I'm down for that. Would I want one or would I drive it? Probably not, but it's cool to have this stuff out here. Another thing that's really kind of like a big thing with these off-road vehicles is that for one, they always go for a premium, which and they also make them limited most of the time. They're like a limited edition model, which is understandable because everyone doesn't want an off-road vehicle. But the problem with that is because they are so expensive, so rare, people don't even drive them, let alone take them off road. Sometimes they'll drive them, but they just drive them on the like highway or whatever. And like that's fine, whatever, but like I don't know. I just find it. I hate whenever people buy a cool car, and it just sits. That's just a waste of. It's a waste. It's just a waste. That's all. And I feel like if this new Raptor truck comes out, that could also happen to this because it's happening with the 911 Dakars. Like I said, it's happening with the Storados, all of it. Next, I just kind of want to point out this really cool reimagining of the McLaren F1 that GMA did, which if you guys don't know, GMA is Gordon Murray Automotive, which Gordon Murray is the person who designed the McLaren F1 and is the lead guy behind all of that. GMA is his company. He makes what is called now the T50 and I believe the T60 car. They're pretty much actually kind of like the McLaren F1 in modern day. They are V12, manual, naturally aspirated, middle seating position, like center seating position, just like the McLaren F1, which really kind of sets it apart and really makes it its own thing. And like I said, GMA actually just did kind of a reimagining and like more of a modernized take of a McLaren F1, and it looks really cool. And McLaren obviously has no issue with it because this is the dude who quite literally designed that car in the first place. So like, they're like, yeah, this is cool, really cool. And McLaren even said that it's a cool way for their car to continue living on and to actually like have a new iteration. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't think that this is something that people can buy. I'm not entirely sure. I think this is just like a little project that they did, and it's really, really cool. It looks nice. Like, say, if I ever saw one, I mean, that'd be cool. But again, I don't know if this is an actual thing that people can get or something that people will actually see. But either way, it's really cool. All right, and next up, we've got actually a little bit of NASCAR drama here. Michael Jordan, the basketball player, yes, Michael Jordan, his NASCAR team, 23XI, which for one, I did not know this man owned a NASCAR team, first off. I didn't know that because I don't even keep up with NASCAR. But yeah, crazy information I found out doing this. But him and his co-owner, Denny Hamlin, they actually are suing the NASCAR governing body and their France family, which they're saying that they are trying to run a monopolistic and anti-competitive racket, which, okay, this all started originally back in October of 24 whenever Michael Jordan's team 23XI actually first sued NASCAR and their France family back in October. Now, as a result from that, they were countersued in March of this year by NASCAR, and they were saying that 23XI is running an illegal cartel by meddling in broadcast negotiations as well as organizing a boycott against the teams. Now, I don't really know about that. Okay, I don't know about that. I think that's a little crazy, but now I also don't know too much about Michael Jordan's side of this. I don't know if they're saying this because they feel left out because of something. Again, because like, I'm not too up to date on NASCAR, so I don't really know all the details. But I know that this is going to court. And like I say, that's interesting. So I'll do some more research on this so I can fill you guys in on this next week, actually, because this is actually probably going to end up getting pretty interesting. And for our final story today, we actually have a little bit, it's more drama, actually, but it's more just people just kind of being a little greedy, if you ask me. Now, Sony and Honda actually are partnered for what's called the Sony Honda Mobility. I mean, that's just what it's called. And it is basically they're coming out with a new project of Honda chassis-based Sony-designed electric cars. And it's coming through a company called Afila. And they are actually starting to sell their first cars in California soon. But the issue with that is the dealers of Honda and Acura in California are saying that the Afeela car is going to be impending on their sales at their dealerships, because Afeela is going to be its own company. They're not going to be sold at Acura or Honda dealerships. They're going to be sold at Afeela dealerships, and they're going to be made for company cars and stuff like that, because they are supposed to be able to have like a ton of sensors, be autonomous. You know, I could imagine them possibly being like Waymo vehicles or something of the sort like that, right? But these dealers are upset that these Afeela cars are going to be essentially taking their sales away from them. And I don't know. I'm just not seeing it because, for one, like, it's Honda and Acura. You guys are still going to sell cars. Plenty. You guys don't need this car. This one car is not going to make or break your guys' dealership. I'm sorry. And second, it's just one, again, this is just one car. And it's a experimental electric car. That many people aren't gonna buy this thing. So the fact that they're out here trying to just be greedy and want to sell it is kind of weird. It's a little annoying also, because like, you guys again have plenty of business. You guys are Honda and Acura. Plenty of people come buy your cars. Sorry about that, guys. My camera died. But like I was saying, I was kind of at the end of that. I just think that's a bit greedy on those dealers' part, because I truly just don't think that this one car is going to affect you guys' sales that much. And with that, we are now done. And I tried a different form of this. I wanted to compile a lot more stories and just kind of talk about them shorter time. Tell me if you guys like that, or if you guys liked better when I would just talk about 3 to 4 topics and actually kind of like go a little bit more in depth with them. Or if you guys actually truly want me to continue posting as many stories as I can in these videos, but you just want me to go a little more in depth, I will do that as well. It's just going to result in longer videos. I just don't know if you guys would want to watch a like 20-25 minute news video. So if that is something that you guys would like, let me know and I will do that for you guys. I have no problem doing it. So with that being said, that is the end of this one. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.